Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. We have the P Diddy trial coming up. It's actually, I guess, started today. It says Mike Myers and other celebs on list given to possible jurors. We're going to see a lot of people come out being exposed in the P Diddy trial. Of course, that's a music industry with P Diddy, but it stretches far and wide. Now, another thing we're going to see is Tina Peters. President Trump directed the Department of Justice to basically get her out of jail. All right. There's a lot of things going on in the background as far as that's concerned. We're going to see massive exposure in the judicial system, because you guys know that I've been saying we have to take down the judicial system. And with Tina Peters, we're going to see that exposure, payoffs to these judges and so forth on a very, very significant level. I mean, we're talking tens of millions of dollars to these judges to judge a certain way. That's going to really break that system, break the absolute spine of that system. It's like there's a movement I used to teach. Basically, you like take somebody up and you like bring them down over your knee, snap their back. That's what's going to happen to the judicial system, guys. Its back is going to get snapped over the good guy's knees, right? So that is coming, and you guys are going to love the way that unfolds. I promise you. I've been hearing about some things that are going on, so it's going to be significant. Now, Juan O'Savin is going to come on the time. But of course, once things start to flip and crack, snapping backs, then we'll see a lot of stuff come forward. It'll be good. You guys are gonna love it. So it's an incredible time to be alive, and we're lucky to have survived, and we're still alive, many of us. So you're going to be very, very pleased with the show. And the show is getting more and more exciting as we go along, like P. Diddy Combs, the gematria. I like to watch and listen to Zachary Hubbard. He's got, I think it's called Gematria Effect News. He's actually got like several channels because he bounces around, because they're always trying to like me, take his channels down. So if he bounces around, one of them gets restricted. He just bounces over to one of his other channels and just keeps revealing. But he talks about how the Jesuit order is involved in the P. Diddy trial and so forth. The dates, all the dates, line up specifically. So we're probably seeing the same thing, a corrupt judicial system that's going to be doing P. Diddy's trial. I don't know. I hope not. I hope the good guys have finally gotten in control of that. But there is a lot of Jesuit order numbers and so forth. If you look at the day the trial started, which is today, 5/6. You look at the month, which is a 5. The day is a 6, so 5/6. Jesuit order, and 5/4 and all that kind of, all these numbers basically come out, and Zach Hubbard talked about all this in his Gematria Effect News. Today, he talked about Diddy's trial is simply numerology and ritual. So there you go. So it is like that with all of this stuff. It's like that with the sports, because he breaks down the sports like I've been doing. I found out when I was overseas, that the Mockingbird media was, basically deciding who was going to win, like in Pakistan, cricket games. And then I came to realize, well, if they're doing it in Pakistan, they're probably doing it in the United States, and they're probably doing it in the UK. So the football, soccer, as we call it in the United States, and Europe, they already know who's going to win. They decide that beforehand. way before the games are even done. Same thing with professional sports in the United States, guys. It's all rigged. They all make money off of it. And that money is what they use to basically throw innocent people like Tina Peters in jail. Now she's a Gold Star mom. Her son, Navy SEAL, that was on a parachute team, mysteriously burned in when he was doing a show in New York, where P. Diddy was basically arraigned or arrested or so forth. So a lot of these things are, there's similarities here and there, and it's going to be exposed one way or another. So let's look at the Independent. Sean Diddy Combs trial. Jury selection continues in rap mogul's sex trafficking trial. Now, P. Diddy didn't just sex traffic. He was an abuser on an incredible level. And that's one of the things that really got the public involved in wanting him to go to trial. And because the public saw him beating his girlfriend who had exposed him, where did that video come from? That's amazing, that video. Why did it take so long for that video to come out? And it came out at just the right time when she decided she was going to reveal his former girlfriend. Wow. And it couldn't have come out before that? Huh. And what's up with all those 1,000 bottles of lubricant and baby oil? Right, so all these different things, freak offs, and white parties. Why white parties? Why dress up in white? And why do they come after everybody in white? Why do they Black Lives Matter and all these different things, guys? We're gonna find out so much of this stuff. It's gonna make sense. These evil, horrific people that have been doing the things that they do, and many of us have, been attacked from the dark side. Many of us, I just lost my son. It's horrific. They come after all of us. They come after our families. Our families get caught up in all kind of crazy stuff. Unfortunately, that's why I have tried to distance myself from people. I just have a very, very close knit group of people that I associate with. That's to protect other people, guys. That's to protect other people. It's not fun. It's not fun doing this work, but it is rewarding. It does have some rewards to it. All right. So what we know about today's jurors, they live across the New York region through Bronxville, Manhattan, Westchester, the Bronx, Hell's Kitchen. So the city of boroughs, Queens, Brooklyn, Staten Island, the suburbs of Long Island. So professionally, they work in oncology, legal services for women, kitchen design, manufacturing. So basically a broad spectrum of people. Now, I can tell you, after being in a J6 trial for a grandmother that just walked through the building with an American flag on January 6, 2021, that jury showed her no sympathy at all. And I was shocked. They looked like just ordinary people, but they were from Washington, D.C. All right. So I don't know. I don't know how to pick a good jury. I don't want it to be all conservatives. I don't want it to be all liberals, but it would be nice to have, an even, jury. I don't know how you can get that in a place like New York City or Washington, D.C. It's an extreme level of juror that's going to come into these situations. And just like we saw with who's the football player, the guy that killed his wife or supposedly killed his wife. I don't think he killed his wife. I think his son killed his wife. But there's been people that have presented that information, but he just took the heat for it. But he knew probably that he was going to get off. O.J. Simpson. So the O.J. Simpson trial. I think they kind of sided with him, and they probably shouldn't have, right? But because of the juror, and I think the juror was selected based on certain factors, so that they felt that they could sway this jury to go with O.J. Simpson and find him not guilty. So, and like I said, if they really had released the information, they might have found that it was not guilty. Very, very sad that some of these cases that go out there, guys, are, the people are found guilty. Take Tina Peters, for instance. Obviously not guilty. We know she's not guilty. And she was trying to protect information that was going to protect President Trump and expose the illegal election that was going on in Colorado. So we're probably going to see, like I said, because President Trump has said he wants Tina Peters out of there. Right. President Trump escalated the federal attempt to upend Colorado's prosecution of former Mesa County clerk Tina Peters in a social media post Monday night. So in the post, Trump directed the U.S. Department of Justice to take all necessary action to help secure the release of former Mesa County clerk Tina Peters. So, for me, I was like, well, why didn't he pardon her? Because it's a state trial. It's not a federal trial like the J6 trials were federal. Trump can't come in and say P. Diddy, I'm gonna pardon him. He can't do that because it's not a federal trial. I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure that that's the reason why he can't just come in and inadvertently, say anybody can not stand any trials or get off of, being convicted or whatever. So that's the thing that we're looking at right now. The reason why he has now come in is because he sees something that can go after high-level people. So obviously people that are involved in a federal level, that's how he can come in. That's how he can get the Justice Department. Now, what would that be? That would be justice people in the Justice Department, whether it's state or federal, and maybe federal and state. I don't know. We'll see. That are known to have been, receiving payoffs. Right. So we've talked about how the deep state has this incredible money machine, and they use that money machine to pay people off, to pay people to kill people that won't work with them, to kill people and make it look like suicide, like we saw with the one woman, Gofrey, that's in Australia, that was basically exposing all of the sex trafficking that was happening at Epstein Island. Where's the Epstein Island list? So Virginia Giuffre, could she maybe still be alive if they had released that list and started pushing? So we see the deep state has ways to still silence people. They're extremely evil. They have an extremely large bankroll that's obviously still coming in. Stopping child trafficking, human trafficking, and so forth is really putting a crimp in their money-making machine. Taking down Ukraine. Russia is going very far and taking down Ukraine right now. They're moving across the country, like I predicted about a year and a half ago, that Russia would turn the offensive that Ukraine had started, would turn it around and would push on a massive scale and push across the country. And that's what they're doing. I said that they would take Odessa. And it looks like now they're moving in the far extreme end of, where is it? Not the Donbass area, but there's another area that's further to the west, and it's along the Dnipro River. They're crossing the Dnipro, and a lot of people have said that once Russians have crossed the Dnipro River, it's pretty much going to be a very quick annihilation of the Ukraine army, which we have been seeing. Russia has absolutely been annihilating that army on an incredible scale. Now, we know that Zelensky is a criminal. And Zelensky, I have said, is going to be executed. He'll be executed, or he'll be found and assassinated quietly. Right, quietly assassinated. He'll probably open a package and somewhere, and it'll be filled with uranium or something, and then he'll die from that. So this is one of the ways they take people out. But Zelensky is a war criminal right now because he's threatening if anyone goes to Russia on May 9th, and there's supposed to be a lot of people from leaders from all over the world. They're supposed to go to their May Day ceremony. That if they go there, he can't guarantee that they may not come under attack. Well, that sounds like you're threatening to attack them. To me, Russia, Moscow and so forth, doesn't come under attack that much. But if there were some kind of an attack where you have dignitaries there from all over the world, I would think that the world should turn against Ukraine at that point, and we may see that. Could Russia stage that? Right. So, Zelensky's already opened that can of worms. So if the Russian former KGB, whatever they are now, decided to make some kind of simulated attack and blame it on Ukraine, wow, that means the world turns against Ukraine, wouldn't it? So this is the way these things play out. It's a very, very sad, very dangerous game. I've seen these games played when I was in combat. I've spent a lot of time in combat zones, whether it be in the SEAL teams or whether it was when I worked in the CIA. So there are many ways that both sides will intimidate, misinform the public, because it's all about the public. If the public goes one way against the war, that war is going to end. If the public is for war, that war will continue. Now you see the public that's for the war in Russia. So Russia no one wins against Russia, right? No one wins. They always lose. Even when the deep state took over Russia, killed the Tsar and his family, and took over Russia, eventually Russia came back and kicked their ass and kicked them out of their country, for the most part, I guess. And now Russia is doing the good work, I think, of the world and for God, right? I don't think. Well, killing people is never good, but there are things that God sees. He sees everything, of course. There's nothing that is not exposed to God, and God works in mysterious ways, as we know. You can love something as much as you want. I've done that and caused a lot of problems to cease to exist in places where I was. But still, that leaves the problem. It leaves the problem of these demonic psychopaths that have the ability to come after us in certain ways. You can push them out of a certain area, but they're going to come back at you another way. So they have to be either taken into prison or eliminated completely from the face of the earth. So that's unfortunately the way this works in our reality right now. At some point, I hope that we all love each other. We don't have to do this anymore. How and when that happens remains to be seen. I think it will happen at some point, but not yet, right? Not yet. Now, a lot of people are like, well, there's always going to be wars. Well, there wasn't war when there was COVID lockdown because the deep state had complete control over everything. So there was no war then. Why couldn't there be no war now? So who's doing the wars then? Because once the lockdown stopped, the war started again. So, that should make you go, and think about that, right? So we, the people, determine really, ultimately, the way this works, guys. And I think that we're moving in the direction very quickly. We're all waking up on a massive scale, and we're going to move beyond the wars, and people that cause these wars justice will be sought and justice will be had. So the Monday, U.S. Magistrate Judge Scott Vorlock suggested he's inclined to send her case back to the state court. Wow. All right. What's going on? So there's a growing federal effort to free Tina Peters. And in March, so this has been building. This has been building for a long time. yes, it was very tragic that she ended up in jail at all. It's tragic. There's a lot of tragedy out there, unfortunately. Many of us get caught up in it. She got caught up in it, trying to do the right thing. And, in my mind, she's a hero. I hope she's free soon. And then we get to celebrate, how far she pushed the deep state and won. So that's one of the things we're looking at. So it's a radical left Attorney General Phil Weiser. Remember that name? Radical left Colorado Attorney General Phil Weiser ignores illegals committing violent crimes like rape and murder in his state, and instead, is he someone receiving money? Jail Tina Peters. That remains to be seen. I'm not making any accusations. I don't know. I'm just speculating. I don't know. I have no idea. But I know people are being paid. I've seen this all over the world. When I worked for CIA, people were paid. Right? People were paid to do certain things. I was paid to protect people. I was paid to, everybody gets paid. All right. And some of these people get paid to do evil. I was paid to do good, to keep people alive, which for the most part, at least as far as I could tell, we're doing good work. And sometimes I was like, I don't know. I don't know about that one. And that's probably why I don't work for the CIA anymore. But Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, she's a firecracker. The MAGA firebrand who represents the state's 4th congressional district said she sent a formal request to the FBI to look into the sentencing and treatment of Tina Peters. So she wrote on an X report, I am glad to see President Trump address this situation. So again, a good congressional leader, basically rally support. It's kind of like the sheriff. He needs a posse, right? So we have these criminals that work in our State Department or our state capitals, and we need a posse to come out and push back. And that's kind of what we're seeing across the country. And I think it's a fantastic time, but it has to be a posse of the people. It has to be a posse of the people, because the sheriff by themselves, President Trump by himself, Lauren Boebert by herself is not going to have the traction. It's like that. Remember when you used to pull the rope? Teams would pull the rope and you try to pull the other team across a certain point and then you won. It's like that. So if you have President Trump on the rope pulling by himself, the deep state's going to pull the hell out of him, right? But if you have a massive share of the American people pulling that rope, we're going to pull the deep state offline. They're going to fall down. They're going to all fall down, and they're going to Guantanamo, right? Or who knows? Maybe Alcatraz. Some of them might go to Alcatraz because President Trump is saying he's going to open up Alcatraz again. Who might go there? Wow, that's very intriguing, right? So Coloradans believe the justice system is rigged. Boebert also compared Peters' crimes to inadvertent posting of voting machine passwords by the Democrat Secretary of State's office. So the Democrat Secretary of State did the same thing that Tina Peters did. The same thing, and maybe even worse. But nothing happened. Do you see a problem with the justice system there? I think so. All right. So it's very interesting to see this thing crumble. Now, when you see Tina Peters, I believe, come out of that jail, we're probably going to see a lot of exposure. A lot of the people that have been paid off. A lot of people are going to go to jail. And I don't know, maybe that's where we see the military come out. I don't know. Is the military going to come out? It's a possibility. Are we going to see arrests? There's no doubt. I think arrests have already happened on a certain scale, very low key. Some people have been persuaded, probably after spending a little bit of time in an isolated area, that it's in their best interest to work with the good guys and expose themselves. Because I just recently saw Big Mike. Big Mike was talking about how he was very proud of this transgender, and he said, and as a man, that's right. Big Mike said that, as a man. Maybe he was talking about the man that became a man, but the way it sounded is like, so you could like make it go either way, but it sounded like, as a man, as a man, I think that's a really, really good thing that you're doing. So, wow. So a lot of reveals that are coming in. There will continue to be reveals, and they're not going to stop anytime soon. It's quite extraordinary. So state audits have found no evidence of election fraud in Colorado in the 2020 election and confirmed that the machine vote tally matched the markings on the paper ballots. So once fraud has, they're not stupid in the way they do things, right? And they have a lot of people that are going to say, what fraud? What fraud? You want to go to jail? Tina Peters, there's fraud there? Oh, you're going to jail. Right. And then everybody else that might say fraud, well, maybe not so much. Right. So that's the problem that we're at right now. So that's why I am saying that Tina Peters being released will open the doors for all of those people all over the country that have not dared get out of line because they saw what happened to Tina Peters to come out of the woodwork. It's like, once that woman, P. Diddy's former girlfriend, disclosed, oh boy, it's like, and that's the way it is. Bill Cosby, remember Bill Cosby? Like one woman came out, and then it was like a thunderstorm. It was like it poured heavy. All right, women coming at that like crazy. There would have been more probably if other women thought that. Well, there's 50 of them that are saying so. If that 50 is not enough, I'm going to jump in there. But there's probably a lot more, guys. Probably a lot more. So, they can only take the testimony of so many people, I guess. So, and maybe those are backups. Maybe there's a lot of backups to this. All right. So the rap mogul sex trafficking trial. Wow. It's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. And of course, then we're going to start to roll over into Jeffrey Epstein stuff that's going to come out. So you have to have a little something, and then people become brave and they start to talk and they start to reveal. This is the way this works. This is the way it works. And it's very intriguing the way human consciousness works, but that is the way it works, unfortunately. So it's a NBC News. There's a post there where it says, Sean Diddy Combs tells judge, I'm a little nervous. Yeah. If I was evil like you and I was exposed and I was about ready to get something shoved up me the way he was shoving up raping people, maybe I'd be a little nervous too. All right, Sean. All right, Sean Diddy Combs. So, will he get the prison sentence forever? Or will he get something else? I don't know. Where's he? He's being tried in New York. New York. Do they have a death sentence there? I don't know. Let's see. Death sentence, New York. Everybody's like, "Ooh, is it?" Death sentence, New York. And I would just say it to my phone, but it'll start talking. I don't want. Does not currently have a death penalty. The New York Court of Appeals declared the state's death penalty law unconstitutional in 2004, while New York had a death penalty law from 1995 until it was overturned. No execution had taken place since 1963. All right, so I don't know if he's involved in killings. So probably, right? If he's involved in murders and stuff like that, then he's still going to make out because he'll just get, more charges added. He'll get 5 million years behind bars. He'll never live that long, but he's definitely not going to be executed. Not in New York. I guess you can go and kill people in New York, and you don't have to worry about being killed because you killed, right? Unless somebody shoots you before you go in, and then they'll probably go to jail forever. It's crazy. It's crazy the way the justice system works. There is no eye for an eye anymore. It's been like I'm looking at right here. Prosecutors said that Ventura, who was signed to Combs's music label as Casey, had been trying to escape the hotel room. That the events of the day, remember, where he basically marched out with just a towel around his waist, and then beat her and kicked her in a hallway. She was trying to escape. That elevator wasn't fast enough. Remember those movies where somebody punches the elevator and the evil person, like B. Diddy is coming, and the elevator doesn't get there in time, or the doors open and they're getting ready to go in, and then boom. That's what happened to that Ventura, unfortunately. So Combs attacked and drugged Ventura in a Los Angeles hotel hallway. And that was a video from March 5th, 2016. And they've held this for that long, up until what was a year or so ago that she basically came out. Combs was wearing only a towel in the video, and Ventura did not have shoes on. After CNN aired the video last year, Combs apologized publicly, saying his behavior was inexcusable and that he took full responsibility for his actions. That's not good enough. Right? You're going to stand trial, MFer. All right, so use of force in connection with the freak off. Powerful evidence of trafficking. Use of force in connection with a freak off. And which they allege preceded the assault. So freak offs. All right, so that's what they call their rape parties. According to prosecutors, Combs bribed hotel security with $100,000 to obtain the footage and cover up what he had done. $100,000. So I promise you, a deep state, somebody came in there and did that. All right, that's the way that usually works, because he's definitely a deep state puppet boy, groomed from a very early age. Of course, he grew up in New York. His father was involved in drug trafficking, I believe, and died. All these dates are very similar to the Jesuit numbers that I was talking to earlier. And very, very interesting how all this comes to play. How all of this came into play, that the date of the trial was connected with Jesuit numbers. So as we know now, after I know many of you have watched that Leo Zagami. If you haven't watched the Leo Zagami video that I did with him, it's very, very informative. Basically spells out it's the Jesuits. Jesuits that control the world. Kazarian Mafia, I even said, I'm listening to you, Leo, and I always thought it was the Kazarian Mafia that was controlling the world. And he laughed. He's like, oh, no. Oh, no. It's the Jesuits. I was like, and he made a strong case. All right. I am completely convinced. So, and you will be too. And of course, he's got a great book out. So I've been, when I have time, because I'm very busy right now, but when I have time, I've been reading that book, and it is very revelatory, guys. It basically answers a lot of questions that many of us have had for a long time. So like I've been saying, and like a lot of people have been saying, it is an amazing time to be alive. So there was HBO. They released a documentary about Combs titled "The Fall of Diddy." If you haven't seen that, I highly recommend it. You can also see it on Max. I think that's where I watched it. So all the people that came out and talked about this, wow. You're like, this guy was getting away with some crazy stuff for a very long time. And how could someone do that? Because there is a judicial arm that is protecting these people. There is laws for us and another law for them. Their law is you work for us. They're the ultimate mafia, the Jesuit mafia. You work for us. We take care of you. We give you everything you need. You just have to do evil for us. And if you get out of line, whether you get out of line or not, we may have to kill you, right? So, and that's what I exposed as well just recently when we had. If you haven't seen the James Files video that I just did, where he talks about how it was basically the reason why he got, because he was part of the CIA, I guess Jesuit, really, because the Jesuits on the CIA. Jesuit, I'll just call them that, the Jesuit assassination team that have been developed to kill people all over the world. So I hope that President Trump, because we made an appeal to President Trump to pardon him so that he can talk. Now, I've signed a lot of NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, when I was in the SEAL teams and in the CIA. Signed a lot. And I'm talking, I don't know, less than 10. And I thought that was a lot. Right? And, I was involved in a lot of stuff, about top secret stuff. And so some of that stuff I just won't talk about ever because it's, national security issue stuff. But some of that stuff is like, you start to learn that it is being used to silence people so that they can do evil. And that's very disturbing once you figure that out. And that's one of the reasons why there's so much PTSD, guys. And why a lot of, unfortunately, former veterans commit suicide. It's because they learn that they were used. And I've talked to a lot of people about that over the years, and they agree with me. And a lot of people that work with people with PTSD say that, upwards of 80% of people that commit suicide is from trauma that they received realizing they had been used. All right. So very, very tragic, that we are used. Like I said, there was no wars during the COVID lockdown because the deep state had complete control. They didn't need the wars. They had a war going on with a bioweapon, all right? A bioweapon that was, like Trump says, the Wuhan flu, and then another bioweapon that started going in people's arms, all right? And that ultimately was the bioweapon they wanted to get in there when they weren't as successful as they had planned because the people rose up and pushed back. And they get it in everybody. And they weren't successful like they almost were in New York with making concentration camps for people that did not get that thing in the arm. They tried to pass that twice. But we, us truthers, I remember like blowing that up and they didn't get it passed. So it is we the people. As long as we get in before they sneak around and get their stuff done, like they get the Federal Reserve in. They got it in because they killed all the people that would resist, that had influence on the Titanic. And then in the night before, most people were gone for Christmas holidays, but they just had just enough paid for senators and congressmen that they needed to get a law through to make the Federal Reserve, and they did it just before Christmas. Just before Christmas. And it's probably on their Luciferian day that they did that, I bet. I have to go back and look at that now. So, because the Luciferian day is before Jesus' supposed, birthday. All right. December 25th. And a lot of people have said that that's not his real birthday, but it falls in line with a lot of stuff from Rome, the Jesuits. All right. So that's one of the things that that many of us are starting to come to a realization of, just how much they have manipulated everything. So to think that, if they can manipulate religions to control us in a certain way, and insert evil in that. Of course, not everyone is evil that does religion. It's just infiltrated, just like politics is infiltrated. The education system. So the Jesuits are an educational order. I think I saw somewhere it was like 16,000 Jesuits or something crazy across all the world. Let me see. I was looking at it earlier. Jesuit numbers. Here it is. It says, as of January 1st, 2022, there were 14,439 Jesuits worldwide, including 583 novices, 2,587 scholastics, 837 brothers, and 10,432 priests, according to Jesuits Global. The Society of Jesus. See, they just took that beautiful name and made it a 180. Made it a 180. That should really piss all of us off. It pisses me off now that I understand. So they are supposedly part of their educational, right? Scholastic. As you saw there, there's very large number of scholastics. And our educational system, remember how Trump basically did away with the Department of Education because it's infiltrated. That doesn't mean all education is wrong. There's a lot of craziness that's in the education system, of course, but not all of it. So we're turning around a lot of the stuff. We're becoming more aware. We're seeing, as Leo Zagami said, that Pope Francis, who was a Jesuit Pope, the first Jesuit Pope, and the last Pope, this was predicted, prophesied very, very long ago. And that's because they're basically moving, as we're going to see, whoever they're doing the enclave, the cardinals, and I think it's like 133. Is it 133? 133? How about that number? Let me see. How many cardinals? Conclave. $133. How about that? I was right. That 33, that top number in the Masonic order, right? So 133. So all these different numbers, guys, they keep popping. They act like God, because when God works in His mysterious ways, these numbers come up in magical ways. I see 444s and 1111 a lot. When I've done several shows just recently after my son's passing, a lot of people were sending their condolences and so forth, and they were voicing those, and some of the chat and some of the people that are involved in shows. So the numbers were like, I remember one of them was like an hour, 11 minutes, 11 seconds, and then I had another show, it was 1 hour, 1 minute, and 11 seconds. So you that's God at work. But these guys manipulate and they push dates around, like the Pope leaving on Easter, right? My son actually passed over on Easter as well. So, and there are a lot of people that are passing over now. Got people that I've done lots of shows with and so forth. I'm getting contact from people a lot right now of people that have passed over. All right. So it seems to be some kind of energetic that's going on where this kind of stuff is happening. Good against evil. Some people have basically pushed as far as they could. And now they're, unfortunately, they've reached the peak, and now they're passing, unfortunately. All right. You see 1111 at least once a week, yeah. So yeah, you see them a lot, especially when you work in the angelic realm. You'll see the 1111s quite a bit. And now that I mention it, probably more people are going to start to see it that are of that spiritual mindset. So it's basically like a hello from the other side, right? And it's I think it's one of the things that's very beautiful. Cardinals enter seclusion ahead of secret conclave to elect new pope. The new pope will be the New World Order Pope. So they're moving forward with their New World Order, guys, as if even all of the stuff that we're taking down their system, massive take down their system, stopping a lot of their ways to make money and use that money to influence and control. They're still moving forward. These are long-term plans that these evil ones have been, working on for a long time, and they're going to continue to go forward. So, thanks for that super chat. And so that's why these guys know that they're in a very tough place. Now, because they're in a tough place, there will be other ways that they can't start wars right now. They're trying to start a war with Pakistan and India, and it could turn out to be a nuclear conflict, or at least that's what they're trying to make it out to be. I don't think it goes down. But they do have other ways. I think they're being shut down as well to create weather, to create direct-to-energy weapons that basically melt cities. We've seen that quite a bit. Lahaina, LA, and possibly more coming, right? I think there's going to be lots of blackouts. Some of that may be from the sun activity. We have, every time we have a situation where we have low sunspot activity, which it's been increasing. It's called a grand solar minimum. So we're in that phase right now where temperatures go lower. My daughter she basically took my son's car. We met in Asheville. She flew out and I picked her up, and we basically, we're settling the state. We went up to Maryland, where Michelangelo spent several years, and we had a celebration of life there. Really good. A lot of his musical friends came out and played music they used to play. Thanks to our super chat. And so we had a great time. So Michelangelo had a Toyota 4Runner, and Ashley drove that cross country, and she's going to get that. So doing all the lawyer stuff, because I got to, had to get a lawyer, and any of you that have had people that died that didn't have a will or whatever, you have to get a lawyer and settle their estate. So I'm having to settle his estate, the things that he had, and so forth. So I guess that camera got sad, had to look away. So my daughter drove across the country. She's going back to San Diego, and she's driving the 4Runner. She's driving it through Denver. She went straight across, took the high road, and through Illinois and all that stuff. And she's at Denver. That's where you start to head down, and it's snowing in the mountains. It's still snowing in the mountains. They're getting a lot of snow. I think 2 to 3 feet of snow in the mountains, and that's definitely going to be probably for a little bit longer. We're going to see more snow, not on a massive scale. It's going to be in the higher elevations, of course, but it's been a long winter for a lot of places. It's been very, very cool in Florida, more than usual, longer than usual, and now it's going to be warm. Now, is it going to get ridiculously warm like they said it did last year? No, it's not going to be. It's going to start to get cooler and cooler and cooler. And we'll see probably some places get really hot, of course, which they always do in the summer. And some places not as much. And some places much cooler, right, for a summer. And that will continue for many years into the future. So that's what happens in a grand solar minimum. It won't be... I don't think we're going to get close to a little ice age, but it's not going to be severe. Now, why do you think they're doing the things that they're doing? Do you think now I recommended that people go watch that Tucker Carlson, Catherine Austin Fitz, where and I've had other people that come on and have talked about how there could be a reason why they're trying to exterminate a large population on the surface, because it'll make it a lot easier for them when they go underground in their bases, that they're massive money that they're using to build these underground bases, right? And that's because of the grand solar minimum that's coming. So taking out the food supply, which they've been trying to do and still trying to do, that's not going to stop. Taking down, people through bioweapon action, and a lot of other things. Drugs. Drugs have been flooding the country. It's quite epidemic. Just the drug deaths alone. You start to look at these things over time, and it's not anything new. The drug epidemic has been going on for decades and decades, and getting worse and worse. So this is something I believe they have planned to exterminate a large population of the surface of Earth, so that there won't be any problems when they go underground again. So they've done it quite a few times throughout the 11,000 years ago. You can look back and you can find where they've had underground cities. They've been exposed. In Turkey, they have a massive underground city. When I was in Turkey with my son and daughter several months ago, we wanted to go see that underground city with, like, I don't know how many levels it had, but they could push a boulder into where the entrance was, and basically they were protected. And so people obviously, they planned it. Did they use it? Who knows? I think they did. And they found a couple of those underground cities and some other places. So those are like ancient ones that probably just the average population did on their own. So imagine us, if we decided that, hey, things are getting really rough, we need to start going underground. We started to build our own, the people, and it started to interfere because there's so many of us, and there's so many of these underground tunnels. We start to run into their underground tunnels, and we're like, well, hey, you guys got a lot down here. What's going on? Why didn't you tell us? Why didn't we plan for this? I guess you guys did, right? So that is one of the things we have to be aware of going forward. I think there's easily, and we know that in I think it's Switzerland, everyone in Switzerland can go underground, right? They have enough people. And of course they say, well, in case of some kind of a nuclear attack or something, we put everybody. No, you guys have been planning for a long time, because you've known for thousands of years that we go in through these periods of grand solar minimums. And if we all work together, we can also, most of us can survive anyway. So why? There's more space underground than on the surface. One surface on the surface that can hold, really. If you've ever driven across country in the United States, there's vast open areas. This idea of overpopulation is complete BS. Now, when you go to some place like Pakistan, and India, and China, you're like, okay, maybe there's a problem with overcrowding, and Europe, but it's not happening in the United States. It's really not happening. I've traveled to Mexico. There's really not happening down there. So there's plenty of space if we all just work together. Now, imagine the same space that we have here on the surface multiplied many times going down. There's plenty. Thank you, Marilyn. There's plenty of, space. And of course, there's other planets. There's the moon. And who knows exactly what that is, but it is some kind of object out there that there's lots of different races that are on. That's what I got from my memories. But we have Mars. But is Mars, as we're looking at it, Canada? So, because a lot of the video and stuff that we're getting resembles a place in Canada that's been researched and found. So there's a lot of manipulation that goes on out there. It's so silly, but I really do believe there are other planets out there. There's other solar systems. There's galaxies, and I think this deep state has basically been moving in that direction for a long time. If you saw the recent one that I did with former Air Force special projects guy, and they basically were watching the UFO activity. Now, was it UFO activity? No, some of that activity is actually if you can say that, probably just say deep state, or maybe some of our good guys, high, incredible functioning vehicles that we call UFOs, unidentified, because they keep that from us, just like they keep the underground bases from us. Right. So all of the technology that is available to them could be available to us, but because they want to enslave us and keep us at a certain level, keep us educationally at a certain level, keep us spiritually at a certain level, because the spirituality side, guys, surpasses all of their manipulations and controls. So that's why I teach, to tap into your intuition, because you're tapping into God, and God guides you beyond all their manipulations and untruths and so forth. So then you start to see things that everybody else can't, right? So that can be very valuable for you and for those of us that are trying to make it through these manipulations and trying to open up the earth so that it's free. Everything's free. Everything's free. There's freedoms, and whatever you want to get involved with, you can get involved with, of course, on a certain level. If you want to travel in space, I think that's coming. There's already people doing that, of course. So why not more people involved in it openly? If you want to go into the undersea bases that are beyond belief, you'll be able to do that. And the same thing with the inner Earth projects that are going on, and the planets. I think most of the planets have underground facilities and so forth. So these are some of the things we're going to see, and we're going to see that this idea that we saw with Star Wars and so forth, where planets are blown up, we're going to see that one of our planets was blown up in our solar system from some kind of attack like that. So we'll find out a lot of stuff going forward. In the meantime, we have to get Tina Peters free, right? That'll get us moving in the right direction, and expose all these people that have been suppressing us. So that's going to be fantastic. And support Russia, taking down the deep state in Ukraine and destroying that abomination. Sad that, innocent people are being killed. This happens in every conflict like that. But ultimately, it's destroying the deep state apparatus that they've used to money launder, create bioweapons, child traffic. They have underground facilities as well, where they did a lot of that stuff. So it is amazing. All the things are coming. We're looking forward to a great push in the near term, which will reveal a lot of stuff, and that's going to be fantastic. All right, guys. Lots of love. Stay in the love vibration. I will see you guys next time.